dance on if you want to.
You can dance.
Are there rules? Are there rules to this dancing stuff or no? It's Spanish Town, so
Not really. No.
it walks the line, doesn't it? That parade walks the line.
Oh,
Like-
very much so.
Is this our 12th?
Oh, we're
Yeah,
live.
this is the decade of
Kevin, we are
So
live.
that's from 2 years. That was my first year.
2018.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
interesting,
so
I'm getting
this
a
will be
better
our 12th.
response, you're
Yeah.
getting a better response with your connection than I am.
So we are all live. So you
Okay,
go to
so-
watch party,
Yeah, you're live, there you go.
Where's watch party?
Hello,
go to the
everybody.
video.
You go to the
Oh, I
video.
see it
Here we
live.
are.
Okay, right here.
And then you.
Oh, I guess I need a refresh.
Shiitake.
Actually, I think this is episode
Okay, so we-
7.
Oh, it's got me stretching.
Oh, you lord.
Wait,
Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
where's
Oh,
watch
see?
party?
So where you click the video?
How do you watch party it?
How do you share it?
So when you go to the video,
So I
Oh,
just
I
click
see.
it? Okay.
A watch party. Okay. What do you did it?
And we have audio, so we're good.
Invite people.
How do you watch?
so
We're
look,
trying
look. You scroll down. Don't go to the first video. Go to the second video.
to the post.
Oh God, no.
Start
Go down to the post.
and then start watch party. You're watch partying.
Okay.
Here.
I'm watch
Oh,
party.
here we go. Start. Watch party.
Do I click invite friends or you already did it?
Invite
did it.
people.
This is what we do at Geaux Rouge. We start watch parties.
Oh, my friend Tori's on. Hey,
so-
Tori.
Are the Baton Rouge baby cakes or Prancing?
It's,
I don't really know.
We are both.
We're both.
We're the prancing Baton Rouge big cakes.
oh, hey, Lisa.
The Baton
Hey,
Rouge
Adam.
prancing
Oh, I got a bunch of
Baton
friends.
Oh,
Baton
hey,
Rouge
Lily.
prancing baby cakes.
Lily's here.
Hey, Lily.
Okay, so now we
Hey,
don't have to
girl.
look
Look
at
up
that
there,
anymore.
everybody look up there.
Hey, girl.
This is so fun.
So I guess I
Oh,
can
Yay.
just see who is joining from
Leo
that.
Verde, Anna B. Or Anna Joubert.
Is Anna? Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, Anna.
This is so,
Anna, say
it's a
hey
weird
back.
delay. Should we turn our volume
Yeah,
down?
turn
Yes, you should turn your volume
Okay.
down.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
My friend Adam's like, I'm supposed to be working right now.
So
Okay, Franz,
you want to give me a 5?
My friend's gonna die.
we are going to live, and let me set this aside so I can see.
John Sweat.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
This is the Geaux Rouge Show. You're listening to Franz Borkart. We are at a special venue for the Geaux Rouge Show this week. We're at Brew. We've got Women in Motion. That's a monthly episode we do for the Geaux Rouge Show. Even though we're a weekly radio show, once a month we showcase women doing amazing things in Baton Rouge, and this is a special episode. Franz Borkart with Geaux Rouge. The Geaux Rouge Show is a show that showcases the best parts of Baton Rouge, leaders and entrepreneurs, artists, musicians, and the culinary folks that make this city outstanding. Before we jump to our very lovely, very talented baby cakes for this episode, let's talk about our sponsors. The Geaux Rouge Show is brought to you by Sullivan's Steakhouse, Louisiana Tech Park, the law offices of Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa, a go-to personal injury law firm. You're not going to find these folks on a billboard, but they're going to do an outstanding job for you. Realtor Brittany Melanson at Keller Williams Red Stick Partners, and of course the Borkart Law Firm. So this episode, Women in Motion, I've got Gabby, Bridget, Sarah, and Abby here. We're just going to jump on in. So the idea.
Cheers.
So the idea behind this, ladies, is I believe that we need to have more women on talk radio, and once a month. If it's only once a month, and it's not really just once a month because I have women guests on all year or all month. Once a month, I want to have an episode that showcases you ladies. So we have Gabby from Brew. Hey, Gabby, what's going on? We have Bridget from Capital City Lighting. Say hi.
Yeah.
We have Sarah from South Coast Organizers, and we have Abby from Wanderlust by Abby. So what you ladies have in common is that you're all entrepreneurs. You're all killing it in Baton Rouge, right? You've got a ton of stuff going on, and you just so happen to be a part of an organization called the Baby Cakes, right?
Yes.
So we're going to go around the horn and let you guys tell the folks out there a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to jump into some questions, okay? So Gabby, you start. Tell us about you and Brouhaha.
Well, I am Gabby, Brouhaha, Loubiere, Higgins. Brouhaha is not really a part of my name, but everybody thinks it is. I have owned Brouhaha for 15 years. I'm a mother of 2. I love to dance. I love to support my community. And I love to work out. And I love my friends.
Awesome. So, Sarah, tell us about you.
So my name is Sarah West. I started South Coast Organizers last January, so I'm celebrating my year number 1 of business. And I'm a home and office organizer that I come in, help people declutter their house and declutter their lives. Hopefully making it nice and simple.
So I have lots of questions about this process because I would imagine there's a sense of uneasiness when you're in their space
Yes.
decluttering
Yes.
because that clutter is a security blanket for
It
them,
is.
right?
It is. So yeah, when I get in there, I have to make people very comfortable very quickly because it is a very personal, intimate thing when I'm going through other people's things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find things that, they probably didn't want me to see, but I just pretend like I didn't see them. So
It's
Yeah.
all
it's very discreet
okay.
and
It's all
non-judgmental.
good.
Non-judgmental. No
So-
judgment.
So continuing on, Bridget, tell us about you and what you do.
I'm Bridget Tate, and I just started Capital City Lighting in August of this year. I do residential and commercial lighting, decorative and decorative, and I'll come in and do LED retrofitting, and I'm just lighting it up, lighting it up.
We're drinking mimosas, so the word lit may happen at some point. And last but certainly not least, Abby, I've heard so many good things about you. Tell us about you.
My name's Abby Bullock, and I have a woman's boutique, Wanderlust by Abby, that I started in 2014. Actually, just doing pop-ups, and one of my first pop-ups was here at Brew So, and then I went from there doing a fashion truck, traveling around the South, and then about 2.5 years ago, I opened the brick and mortar. And what I pride myself on is selling accessories and also vintage goods from local artists from around the South, and letting other people come and pop up at my store, like how Gabby helped me. So it's give and take.
Yes.
And
You're so good at that. And giving.
but yeah,
She's a giver.
I just had a baby, my third baby,
Congratulations.
and yeah, that's me.
So let's jump on in. So y'all are all entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
And that means a lot of things to a lot of different people, right? As a lawyer, people don't often look at me and say, you're an entrepreneur, even though I have a small business. I have an actual office and receptionist and everything. Like I have a conference room and everything. Can't wait for you to fix it. What does the term entrepreneur mean to each of you? In your world, in other people's world, what does that mean to you to be an entrepreneur in Baton Rouge?
For me, it's determination and not giving up.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's I make my own destiny. Like I'm in charge of my own destiny.
For better or for worse,
Yes.
you're you're the captain.
Yeah.
All right.
For me, I guess I didn't never understand the word entrepreneur. To me, like someone that says that they're an entrepreneur, they own lots of businesses and dabble in lots of different things. So I never really considered myself that. But this past year, it's definitely changed my definition. And I think it's just, like you said, kind of like you're your own maker. You're going to make it what
Yeah.
you want it to be. The amount of work you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no fear. No fear.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with being able to start a business and running a business and all that. But it's a powerful title. It's strong and it carries a lot of responsibility because you have to be more than just what you're selling. You have to be. You have to share yourself and your life and your heart with people for them to respect and love and support you. So to be an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be an open, vulnerable book that lets everybody in just to do your part,
And
you
being
know?
vulnerable, not to have a Brene Brown moment, but that is not as easy as it sounds.
At all.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I read Miss
Yeah,
Brown.
as
I'm a fan.
everybody
There you
should.
Let's talk about the decision, because that's a good segue to the decision to start your own business. Because there's a lot of things you can do in this world that are a lot easier than being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You can work a 9-to-5 job for somebody else and
Yeah.
not deal with all the stuff that we all deal with,
Right.
right?
That's true.
So how did you come to the decision, and I'll start with Sarah this time, how did you come to the decision to start your own thing, and what got you off the cliff, so to speak?
Okay, so, well, I was a teacher for 7+ years, and I got to the point where, I was ready to get out of the classroom. I thought I wanted to take more of a leadership role at a school. And so when a position of leadership came up in my school, I interviewed for it, thought I did great, and I ended up not getting it. And so my whole thing was I felt like I'd been there for so long because like this is what I was meant to do, was to be a leader at this school. And so when it didn't happen, it kind of made me step back and think of like, okay, is this even what I really want? And I'd had the idea for the business a few years ago, but I just was too scared to start it. So that was kind of my kick in the pants that I needed to be like, okay, now you didn't get this position. Let's make some moves and do something that you really want to be doing. So that was kind of like, it felt like a failure at the time, but then it ended up giving me the push that I needed to like do what I really want to do, which is organize people's lives.
Yes, I love how vulnerable you just were.
Right?
She's an entrepreneur.
So,
right.
Bridget, how about you?
Well, I felt a real strong desire to do my own thing for a long time, but like I think most of us, I was afraid to step out on my own. I had a very comfortable and consistent income and job, and so for me to just do it, I don't know. I just kind of made the decision where, to me, the benefits of doing my own thing outweighed the comfortable position staying where I was. So that's what I did. I just felt like I didn't have any other option. That's what I wanted to do, and then I got to that point, and it's been wonderful.
So oftentimes we're in positions where we know we need to jump. We need to jump, and it kind of, somebody sometimes will give us a push, or circumstances will give us a
Yeah.
push. We're fired.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about this. So, Abby, how about you? What got you to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I pretty much have always known that I've wanted my own boutique. It was just the way to get there, and I went through many circles. I even dropped fashion and went into oil and gas. And
Like you do.
Yeah, I sold
So
out
common.
and went for the money. And I literally, I couldn't stand it anymore. And I did happen to get laid off. And then after that, I just went back and started working at Noli Harmon, from the bottom, and started doing my side hustle of popping up at different places, and it kind of grew. And I really did it as to test to see if this was going to work, because I'm not from here, and I didn't know like a ton of people. So like being in a baby cake group helped expand all my friends, and it just kind of grew from there. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's going to work. And a few years later, I got my store, but definitely from grassroots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah, started from the bottom.
So, Gabby, we're going to come back to, I knew it was going to work, because one of the things I do want to talk about is that realization that you stop and take a minute. And I'm even doing what I do and all the crazy stuff I do, I'm afraid to stop and look in the mirror and say, this stuff is working.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm afraid that as soon as I acknowledge that, something horrible is going to happen, right?
You're like, no, it's not.
So, Gabby, you've been slinging coffee and cake balls. What got you to the point? What got you to the point where you were like, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be my own boss"?
Well, a lot of college.
Okay.
I went to nursing school and then LSU for marketing, and I worked in service. I worked at Sammy's, I worked at the Chimes, I worked at Duvix. I loved serving people. And so I kind of knew that I would love to like own a bar or a restaurant, but I don't know that owning a bar would be very good for my life.
Short term, yes. Long term,
Yeah.
Be good for you.
No, we can all agree. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I graduated. When I left LSU in marketing, I started working where my mom worked at the credit bureau, and I was fired. I was also single and pregnant. I was 29 years old. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. A dear friend helped me out and let me stay with him, and I figured it out. And it just took some time, and a friend of mine was opening a coffee shop, and she asked me to do it with her. And I did all the research, and I had this baby, and she was busy doing home nursing, and it was all great and exciting. And I got excited about it, because I'm like, wait, it's like a bar minus alcohol, perfect. Right. And then she totally bailed on me. So I did it by myself. And 15 years later, it's exactly where I needed to be.
And look, the favorite part about Gabby is it takes a serious pair of cake balls, if you will. Her brand is her. And I think that's something you all four have in common is your brand, while you work for a company that does lighting and you have a boutique and you help people destroy the clutter. You are your brand, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what do you think it is that your brand is known for? Like, what is your boutique known for? What are you known for? What are you ladies known for? And then we're going to segue into supporting each other. Because being left high and dry is a common thing for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mine is, I think, the comfort and
Okay.
people, multiple, all the time are just like, I feel at home when I come into your store. Like the aesthetics and me personally and the people I hire, the people that work at Wanderlust represent me. So they always, just get lots of attention, little humor, and, the truth too. Also, the truth.
you don't strike me as someone that's not going to give the truth to somebody. No, Franz, you can't wear that. So is that, would you say that that's the signature of your brand, though? I mean, is that what encompasses Wanderlust?
Oh,
by
yeah.
Abby?
Yeah.
Awesome, I love it.
100%.
All right, Bridget, what do you think? This little light of mine.
Well, hold on, Abby.
Oh, you faced it the wrong
Let
way.
me take this mic.
She's like, I'll just hold it.
So I just feel like people come to see me because, and the feedback that I've gotten is that, it's a genuine experience. I'm not pushy at all, and I'm genuinely helpful and knowledgeable about what I do. And so I put people at ease, and I'm friendly. I become friends with pretty much everybody I work with. They text me on my cell phone, like on the weekends, about stuff, or their project or what. It's just we become friends, and I'm good at what I do.
And what you do, whether people realize it or not, that's an important part of someone's life, the lighting.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
It's
I-
every minute of your day.
Right. I was venting earlier to Sarah about my office and how I have these horrible fluorescent bulbs that literally are sucking the life force out of me. But it's such a big thing, and something you just talked about, which I think is a good part of a good entrepreneur, is not overselling people.
Yeah.
Doing what's in their genuine best interest, right? Because look, they're at your doorstep because they need something.
Right.
And having the comfort of knowing, look, we're about to enter into a trust relationship with each other, and you're not going to screw me.
No.
That there is something to be said about that. Or going to a boutique and someone saying, look, you're a beautiful human being, but maybe that's not for you.
Yeah.
There's the initial like, ow, but then there's the, hey, Abby's got my back, Yeah. So that is very cool. And by the way, this little light of mine, what's that?
That is my blog, which I'm going to be working on a lot in the new year, so get ready. So I blog about lighting tips and tricks and facts and all that kind of stuff.
All right. So Sarah, what's your signature?
Okay.
So, by the way, I don't know if you know this about Sarah. Sarah was just featured in 225 magazine.
I happen to know that.
She's kind of a big deal.
Sweater. So my brand is Rainbow from Abby. Rainbow by Abby. No, I guess my brand is just kind of colorful. I would say, colorful, bright, friendly. I'm like Bridget. I feel like I make friends with everybody right away because the organizing process is a very, like I said, intimate process. So you have to basically earn your client's trust very quickly.
It's painful.
Yes. And I feel like I can do that by making them really comfortable because a lot of times there's a lot of shame that goes on when I go to people's homes.
So tell me more about that. Is it because they're embarrassed about what's going on?
Well, I don't know. Some of it's people that are embarrassed that it's going on. Some people are embarrassed that they can't handle it themselves, that they had to hire someone. There's a lot of shame. Women have that a lot of shame of hiring out things that they should be doing, quote unquote, big time. So anyway, so I have to put my clients at ease very quickly. And they're just, I go in with no judgment because the thing is that they're like, oh, this must be the worst you've seen. And I'm like, no, I promise you somebody else is probably worse, but it's okay.
But we're going to get it, we're going to make it better.
And that's the thing is like, so yeah, I feel like my brand or whatever is just, really friendly. I'm going to make it as painless and fun as possible. And you're going to be really excited about the outcome. I think a lot of people don't see the vision, but I have that vision of what it could be.
Something to be proud of.
Yes.
Right.
And I try to meet people where they are because a lot of people do have a lot of trouble giving things away. And so I kind of have to reevaluate spaces and things like that based off of their stuff. Whether they get rid of a lot or they don't really want to get rid of much, I have to be really creative
We could have an entire episode,
Or we could
both
just go with my
figuratively,
story.
both figuratively and literally about
Yeah.
inability to let go of things.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, wow. All right. So, Gabby, talk to me about your signature.
Well, you know what every person watching this thinks I'm about to say, and it's cake balls. But I don't think that's it. I think it is, and it could be a little too much at times, but I think it's because I put it all out there. I don't hold back when I'm struggling. I talk openly about depression, fitness, everything, and like brokenness. You know what I mean? And like I have been broke. We can talk about it. Like years ago, this store struggled, and I think people have ridden along with me because I've always stayed true to, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you what's really going on with me.
And that's
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And you're describing kind of the heart of Mid-City, because that's how Mid-City businesses are. It's
Right.
the neighbor that you come in, you see Gabby, and you're used to seeing Gabby, and it's a
Right.
familiar face. So we got about 3 minutes before we take our first break. So we're gonna hit maybe a softer topic of biggest challenges to being an entrepreneur. Biggest hill, and you can make this either biggest challenge to being a female entrepreneur or just biggest challenge to being an entrepreneur, period.
Well, I know.
We're gonna start with Abby.
Oh, yeah. Good. There's no book. No,
Right.
There's no book. And we were all talking about this earlier. People ask you, how did you get your start? Well, it's literally by you doing it yourself and learning
Right.
on your own. And that's hard. And, like, Louisiana laws are different. They change every year.
You're telling me.
Right? But yeah, for me, there's no book. And when I started, no one knew what a pop-up was. Like, my dad was so confused about a pop-up. And they thought I was like a pyramid scheme.
Amway.
And I'm like, no, like I picked out all of this myself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just breaking new paths for people.
Right.
Doing things that not everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
All right, so we have time for one more person to answer that. Bridget, what do you think?
I would say managing my time because
Amen.
I don't have anybody, managing me. So I have to manage my time effectively and efficiently and go after the business that I want. I don't have anybody giving me leads. I have to do everything for myself.
So there's an irony that we talked about before we went on air, which is if you're doing everything the way you're supposed to be doing it, it looks effortless, right? And then when people come to you for advice, you're like, no, it's a lot of work. And they're like, oh, I didn't realize it was so much work. And you're like, what do you think
I'm doing all day?
And going off of what Abby said, if there is a book about what to do, it feels like it's written by somebody that hasn't done it, right?
Yeah.
The how-tos are like, are you really running a boutique or have you really run a law firm? So, we're finishing off the first segment of the Geaux Rouge show. I'm sitting here with Gabby from Brew Bridget from Capital City Lighting, Sarah from South Coast Organizers, and Abby from Wanderlust by Abby. You're listening to the Geaux Rouge show. This is Attorney Franz Borkhardt. We're going to come back after the break and talk more to these entrepreneurs, these wonderful baby cake women, and we're going to talk about the baby cakes as well. So stay tuned. Facebook Live, we're going to stay on for a minute, so don't go anywhere, and we will be back. And by the way, shout out to Kevin Gallagher for doing the wonderful soundboard that he is doing.
Thank you.
Kevin. He has great hair.
He really does have that. We'll be back. Y'all don't go anywhere. All right, so we're at a break. By the way, Kevin, you don't have a microphone. No. But if someone out there on Facebook wants to utilize you or Bill, your services, your equipment, how would they get in touch with you?
I can throw you a phone number, or I can throw you an email.
Why don't you do an email address?
Kevin,
Kevin
can you hear me?
at
KGallagherVoice.com.
kgallaghervoice.com. Look, guys, if you're thinking about starting a podcast,
If
if
you
you're
know how to spell Gallagher, look it up.
yeah, well, let me help you. So Kevin does the Morning Exiles with Bill Perfida, and look, if you guys are ever looking, Facebook Live World, or any of you guys, if you're ever looking to do a podcast or show on site, these guys are the ones to help you out. They can help you set up on Facebook Live. They can do all the audio. Look, we're drinking mimosas and doing a show at Brew.
Right.
This is happening. So the other thing I wanted to mention on Facebook Live, which I'm not going to necessarily mention on the show yet, we got a new sponsor for Geaux Rouge. It looks like, yeah, right? Sponsors are a good thing. Breck will be sponsoring. So that's going to be a 2020. It's 2020, right? So,
Almost.
2020. Yeah, right.
so,
That's what these say.
so we're going to jump back into the second segment. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Y'all need a potty break or anything? I'm keeping an eye on the clock. You will be out of here, I promise. So whenever you're ready, Kevin, we'll jump back in.
All right, let's count it down in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go.
This is Franz Borkart with the second half of the Geaux Rouge show. I am sitting here with Gabby from Brew Bridget Tate from Capital City Lighting, Sarah West from South Coast Organizers, and Abby Bullock from Wanderlust by Abby. We are just hanging out at Brew having a good old time. The ladies are drinking mimosas. I'm drinking a coffee cup with Gabby. So I want to jump in. We're talking about being an entrepreneur. This is our Women in Motion episode, so we're having a great conversation, right? Time's just flying. I want to get into the element of support. Why it's important that we support each other in this entrepreneurial journey, and what are the obstacles to support? Why is it that people sometimes don't support each other? So we're going to start this time with Sarah.
Okay, well, I definitely had a lot of support getting my business started. It wasn't me by myself. I have some great women in my life that helped me with my website and all those types of things, and they did so just out of the kindness in their own hearts. But I think that people are hesitant to support because I think sometimes people think that your ideas are going to get stolen or someone's going to try to copy you or, things like that. And that does happen for sure. But for me, I've had really great support throughout this past year. And I don't know, I just find the more I support other people's businesses, I see that back in my own business. A lot of times I get referrals and things from people that I've maybe only met once or twice at an event or something like that. But it turns into great leads or clients for me. So
this world that we're living on,
Yeah.
this rock, this community of Baton Rouge is a small place.
It is. It's
And
very small.
It comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
So, Gabby, what do you think?
I mean, I feel like I support to death sometimes, and it's wonderful because everybody supports me, and you feel bad. We talked about this a little bit earlier that sometimes you say no to things and then you get some negative feedback
Right.
for it, but you cannot do everything,
Right.
But I mean, I always am willing to. I mean, I'm of course going to share my friends' businesses or people that I see working really hard, or if I go somewhere and it's great service or good plus, I'm going to build them up because I want people to succeed. I want to support local. I want the community to thrive. I mean, the difference in Mid-City since I opened, I mean, it could literally make me sit here and cry. It's beautiful, So you just, it's picking and choosing. And again, it all comes down to time. We can't do everything.
Right.
But with every breath in me, I'm trying to support those that are hustling. Let's hustle.
All right, Abby, what do you think? What's the importance of supporting people as she's eating an ice cube? We'll come back to Abby. We're going to let Bridget jump in. All right, you're good, Abby?
She good.
Wait, Bridget, you go. I got lost track.
That's all right. So we're talking about the importance of supporting each other, and whether it's women or just in general.
Well, for me, it was everything for me. I know, especially Gabby and Abby were really supportive. Sarah, you too.
No, don't worry about it, girl.
Before I made this leap, I had bared my heart to them, and I got some really encouraging words from both of them, and just some, like Abby told me, don't ever quit. Like, when it gets hard, don't stop. You just keep going, and that seems simple, but it clicked for me. Like, and Gabby texted me the day after I made this big decision, like, you got this. And it meant so much. And when I did my grand opening, all three of these women supported me and gave things for me to raffle off. Came out, and I have the support of my husband, my children, and I have an awesome business partner and mentor that is super supportive, and I learn from every day.
So one of the things I like about mentoring is the concept of reverse mentoring, which is where you learn from the person that you're mentoring, which is one of the reasons you make time in my world. I make time to help out younger attorneys because I do learn. It's like having a second set of eyes on things.
Yeah.
Because I'll be rattling off world sagely advice and they'll say something and I'm like, while I may not say it out loud and admit it, like, hey, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, write that down, So, okay, Abby. Okay.
Well, like I said earlier, like the support of other businesses letting me come in and pop up at their stores was like everything. That was everything.
Right.
And then as I've grown, I've become such good friends with all the other boutique owners. We all do events together, and we've all become friends, and we give each other tips, and and just to vent about things, and other boutiques owners.
Common things you have in common.
Yeah, things that, especially if they have kids, just balancing everything. So, the support is everything. And
So you guys have another layer of support, though. You guys are all baby cakes.
yes.
So I think we can't have an episode with 4 baby cakes without talking about baby cakes. And maybe I just like saying the word baby cakes.
Probably.
So, all right, I don't care who does it, but I need to know, and they need to know, what are baby cakes?
You OG.
I'm not
Wait,
OG.
is Gabby OG?
I've been
Well,
around
I
longer.
feel like she's
Longer than us.
then
Yeah.
you've been at the
Baby
longest.
cakes. I'm gonna tell you what I thought baby cakes was
That's-
before
okay.
I joined, and then now what I think it is.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought it was the coolest bunch of girls, and they were sexy and strong and synchronized, and they could do no wrong in my eyes.
Right.
Like even if they messed up the dance move, that didn't matter.
Give a little bit more general context, though.
They were like they're a group of girls
Right.
started by like 6 or 7 of them that I think pretty much all of them are still there. They dance in Spanish Town Parade, which has grown a few
Right.
more parades.
They don't just
And-
dance, though. It's the front of the line, right?
Not always.
All
not
right, so-
always.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But they practice, and there's support and friendship and love, and it's just the most amazing group of women.
Right.
And every woman wants to be a part of this group, and you wait and you wait and you wait.
Yes.
Until you get the email.
So why do you think it is that everybody wants to be a part of this group? What is it?
Because-
What is it
I
about
can
it?
say,
Well,
like,
you-
because I saw them for the first time probably, sorry.
You don't have to say sorry. I just want to make sure you're the microphone.
I saw them for the first time when I was in college, and they had been dancing for a few years. And I remember just being like, what is this? I need to be in this.
Right.
Like, I just remember seeing all the girls, like, they were wearing crazy costumes. They looked like they were having so much fun. Like, I love to dance. So, like, all of that was just so mesmerizing to me. And I just remember continuing to see them every year in the Spanish Town Parade. And I was like, I have to be a part of this. Like, it just looked so amazing. And so I finally met someone that was in the group, and she helped me get in. It took a while, but I was willing to persevere to be part of the group, and it's been so amazing.
How many baby cakes are there? Plus or minus?
I think actively we have about 30 that dance.
Okay.
30 to 40 probably.
and
Yeah.
I was
going to say 60.
I thought it was around 50.
I think
I think there is a lot of
totally
girls,
we
but
probably
yeah,
have
it's
about
just maybe not
60.
active every year. But yeah, once
So-
you're in, you're in.
So,
Yeah.
and then how does one join if they're interested? I mean, understanding that it's a difficult process to get in, but like if someone's listening to this or watching this and they're like, man, I'm a badass, whatever. I want to be, I said ass. I don't know if the B word would have been okay. Yeah, so I want to be a member of this if I were a woman. How do I join?
Well, technically, you have to be a men on March, but it's really women.
Okay.
So we call them moms. It's like a
Moms.
dance
Right.
mom.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to literally have a baby to be
Yeah.
Right.
in it, but no, you have to be a quote unquote mom, and that means you walk with a baby cake one year in any parade, and you pretty much have a backpack, and you support
you
the baby
carry all the
cake.
You make sure
Right.
we drink
Water.
water.
Sunscreen.
So you're like the
Chapstick.
ancillary
Cocktails.
helpful position.
You wear all white.
Yes.
And then if you do that for a year, you might you might get
Might.
the invitation to go next level.
Yeah,
You
next
might not.
level.
You might not.
Right.
So, do
I
people?
think-
How long do people? You stayed on the list for
I'm
5
on-
years.
I'm on for 4 years.
4 years.
Well, and here's the other thing: is it also depends on how many girls are active each year, because we do want to keep it smaller, just so that we can form these really close relationships. Because if we have like 100 and something girls, you're really not going to get to know everybody.
All right.
To be honest. And so I think that's the reasoning for keeping it a little bit smaller, so that we can actually form real friendships versus it just being like, oh, hey, we're in the same
So,
group.
besides the awesome outfits, besides the awesome dance moves, what's it like to have 29 other sisters, so to speak, that are part of this thing?
Give me the mic.
Give me the mic.
So I mommed for a year, and then I wasn't exactly sure of the whole baby cake thing, because I was raising kids for 10 years. And so it's kind of like it found me. And it was a catalyst for a lot of change in my life.
So tell me more.
Just being in a group of women that are genuinely like just badass and supportive, and just like the love radiates. When I went to my first practice, I was so nervous, and just the women that come up to you and are genuine and, hey,
Right.
how are you, like that genuineness you just don't find all the time, and it is a very special. We are. It's just a special group. Like I told you earlier, it's like we're Jedi. It just finds you.
So let me-
you are meant to be this.
So let me let me ask a follow-up question to that, because we all want to be a part of something, right? And that feels, what you're describing sounds like an amazing entity, that you can just be yourself, you can be authentic, you can be
Yes.
around people that got your back. What makes it that way? What is it about the baby cakes? Because we live in a world, not to be cynical, we live in a world where there's a whole bunch of people not doing that.
Yeah, right.
So what is it about your group that fosters and champions that?
I don't know. I think just the fact that we have so much fun together, we just
Right.
like bond over the funness, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like we just genuinely can have a good time with each other, like in a parade. We're not talking to each other, but we're running around, we're dancing with this person, we're saying
There's
hey
no
to the audience.
judgments.
Like everyone
Yeah.
can just
Right.
kind of like be free, have fun, be yourself, wear whatever you want. And it's just, I think that openness that people feel probably to like kind of be themselves, it just kind of makes everybody really open when we do get to talk to each other, like at practice and stuff
Right.
like that. So
Yeah, like this, I look forward to this time of year, like baby cake season. Like, it's my everything. And I joke with my husband that I plan my baby's birth around Mardi Gras season, so I never miss a baby cake season ever.
So we're living in a world where everybody is looking at each other. All the self-help people are saying, be authentic, be yourself. But the world doesn't always embrace people when they're themselves. Is that a fair statement?
yeah.
So,
Yes.
so let's talk about what happens after Mardi Gras. How active are you guys together as an organization? Do y'all have events throughout the year? Because clearly y'all are close. You four are really close. I would imagine there's others that you're all close with each other, but
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there's other little like subgroups I would say that hang out,
Okay.
more. But we just honestly, a lot of us live around Mid City, so we go to
Okay.
a lot of different events and we run into each other and we're like, oh hey, what you doing? Where are you going? And we'll just kind of hang out with each other. Last year we did a charity event. We did Brawl on the Beach, which was super fun. Which was a little bit outside of Mardi Gras, so
Yeah.
we definitely had a great time doing that. And I kind of
so
hope
much
we can
fun.
do some more stuff outside of Mardi Gras.
I know, right?
Because that was fun.
So, okay, let's circle back to being a baby cake and entrepreneur. And I want to talk about hardest part of being an entrepreneur, not necessarily the hardest part about being a baby cake, because that sounds like it's a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any dance moves, so I would be a little apprehensive about that. Hardest part about being an entrepreneur in Baton Rouge right now? Oh, Abby.
Oh, golly gee. The hardest thing, well, I guess I'm just going to take that question into, for my store right now, it's just keeping it fresh. Let's always trying to find something new, that no one's ever seen. And for me, that's what I'm working on for 2020, is always the next thing. Yeah.
So, Bridget?
I think that Baton Rouge has really just come a long way in the last 5 years. And people have a lot of options to go to boutiques, to buy lighting, and to coffee shops. You know, there's
Lots of
several
organizing
organizers.
business, yeah.
And the challenge is just to set yourself up as somebody that people want to come to. Like, that's your brand, you, and just being genuine and likable and doing a good job for people.
Gabby, what do you think?
For me, it's to not get overwhelmed, to just know what I'm capable of, keep it fresh, like you said, be likable and approachable and make people want to support you. But for me personally, learn to delegate, respect that you have amazing employees that want to help. I put a lot on my plate, and sometimes my plate breaks, and so it's just really to stay focused, keep my priorities straight, my
Gotcha.
kids, my family, my friends.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to the kids question because that's the hardest thing I juggle with,
Yeah.
doing all the insane stuff I do, is I worry sometimes about work-life, side hustle balance. And we're going to talk about that next. So, Sarah, what do you think the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is right now?
Well, for me, since I just started my business a year ago, it's just me. So
I'm with you, sister.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I finally hired an accountant, so I'm trying to delegate a few things. But I hope 2020 for me brings someone who wants to join my team. So I'm not necessarily. I mean, I am looking, but
Well, you
I'm
just
kind
spoke
of
it. You just-
I'm
you
putting
just
it
put it
out
out there.
I'm putting it
So-
out there
so-
to existence
Who
that
likes to declutter?
because I'm not just going to hire someone for help. I want someone that I'm really going to mesh with,
Right.
who kind of not mimics my personality, but mirrors my personality. We work well together, and then we can really take on
So
some
let
things. So.
permission to be vulnerable for a second.
Yes.
Getting somebody to help you when you're an entrepreneur,
I know.
that's a big step for people.
It is.
So hard.
I
It's
know.
so hard.
So to talk about myself for a
Yeah.
second, I'm running a kick butt law firm right now, and it's just me, and I
Yeah.
like it because I like being the small boutique firm where I'm like the A team. Where if you can hire me,
Right.
I have a small practice, I have a small client base, and that's how I want it.
Right.
In the same breath, I know I need help,
Yeah.
Sarah. I know I need help. But that's a big move.
It is.
Jumping and bringing
It's so
someone into your
scary.
crazy world and letting them in. I mean, it's
Yeah.
And then once you let them,
And being able to pay them.
being able to
True.
pay
And
them.
that's my biggest
that
fear.
goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to pay this human being?
Yeah, that's my biggest
But you can do it.
setback.
Yeah.
I know.
Is that I'm so worried about. Okay, what if I bring this person to my team and then no one ever hires me again? That's like
But that won't
number one
happen.
fear.
Well, you'll fire them.
Right.
But like, you'll give them a hug on the way out and say, "Hey,
Right.
I hope this was going to work out."
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. So let's talk about work-life balance, and not just in the context of kids, because I know not everybody here has kids, but saying
You have a
but-
fur baby.
I have a fur baby.
Gabby alluded.
Which I'm also looking for a dog
Yeah.
walker if
So-
anybody out there wants a dog.
So Gabby alluded to this earlier.
I have kids.
The
I will do that.
ability to say no and have a life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about balance as an entrepreneur.
For me, it's easy because if anybody knows me, they know that Sophie and Lily are everything. I've had to miss a few things here and there over the years, but they grew up in a pack and play behind the counter.
Right.
I couldn't even do daycare because I didn't want them out of my sight, So it's just at the end of the day, as much as brouhaha means to me, they will always mean more.
They're a priority, yeah.
And because of that, my customers, my employees love them just as much. So they support it. If I have to close the kitchen early one day because I need to bring Sophie to get her driver's license, people support that,
Yeah.
So to me, it's an easy thing. I don't struggle with it at all.
I have a hard time saying no.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Me too. And I
Well,
don't even have kids. I
You
have a hard time
spend so
saying
much
no.
time trying to get invited to the ball, right? That when you finally get to the point where you can say no, and I sound like I'm kind of desperate when I say that, but I don't mean it that way. But it gets to the point where you're trying to get your brand out there so much that you say yes to so much things that when you get to that point where you have to say no, you're like, this could all. I tell my wife at any moment while I'm making overhead every month, this could all just end. The phone could stop ringing. It could all just end. And she looks at me like I'm crazy. And by the way, everybody at this table, I'm sure, has a partner or spouse or something that they're embracing our crazy, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
they're hugging.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we embrace their crazy too.
Absolutely.
That's right. That is right.
So, okay.
Most days.
Most days. So, work-life balance, Sarah. What do you think?
So for me, I don't have kids, but I am married, and my husband works a lot as well. He works out of town a lot too, so I am in charge of my fur baby and the house and everything like that too. And I have tons of friends we're very social. So for me, and I have tons of friends from lots of different groups. Like I have baby kid group, I have college friends, I have high school friends, I have friends from like work, and just all kinds of different groups that I'm a part of,
Gotcha.
which is how I like it. But it is really hard whenever you've worked, a 12-hour day, and then someone's like, let's go get a drink. And it's like, oh,
Right.
I want to see you, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just naturally a very social person. Plus, I just have a lot of friends. So for me, it's really hard to say no because the thing is that I always want to go to things. It's just if I have the time and the energy to do it.
Yeah.
And so
So-
sometimes I kind of just have to say no, even though I really, really want to attend something.
So, we're running low on time, so we're going to go around the table real fast. If people want to get more information about you or the baby cakes, where do they go? And we'll start with Gabby.
Well, me, you just come to 711 Jefferson Highway.
Brouhaha, shout out, love.
And I'm here all the time, or any of my social medias, which is my name, or Brouhaha. And baby cakes, just watch us in the parades and make a friend and mom, and that's it.
So I have a Facebook page, South Coast Organizers, and my website is www.soco, S-O-C-O, organizers with an S, because I'm going to find somebody to work with me, .com. And I'm also on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is forever Sarah L. West _SoCo Organizers.
So you can find me at 6951 Exchequer Drive in the Industrialplex. That's where my showroom is. My Instagram is C City Lighting, and my website is capitalcitylighting.com.
Wanderlust by Abby with an A.
Love it.
And all of my social handles are Wanderlust by Abby. And my store is 4263B Perkins Road in the Southtown Shopping Center.
So, as always, the Go Rouge Show is brought to you by Sullivan's Steakhouse, Louisiana Tech Park, the law offices of Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa. It's a go-to law practice that does personal injury work. Realtor Brittany Melanson at Keller Williams Red Stick Partners and the Borkart Law Firm. And by the way, www.borkartlawfirm.com. Hashtag day job. So, ladies, thank you guys for coming in. I think we're going to have baby cakes on the regular, as long as the OGs approve it. And look, Facebook Live, if you're watching right now, when we end the radio episode, stay tuned because we're going to make an announcement about how you can win some swag and free stuff. Special thanks to Kevin Gallagher for doing the production board today. And look, guys, Go Rouge, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us at www.gorouge.net. Ladies and gentlemen, Franz Borkart, I'm closing out with Gabby, Bridget, Sarah, and Abby. Guys, have a great week and check
Happy
out
New
the
Year.
baby cakes.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
I love you.
Yay! That was fun.
All right, so we're on Facebook Live right now. So here's the deal, guys. If you watch this video, you need to share it, and you need to tag Go Rouge. You need to tag all of their brands, which I know sounds like a lot of work, but it's worth it. If you do that, next week we are going to do a drawing, and you're going to win some free cool stuff from Abby. Abby needs to go soon. I'm sorry, Abby. Bridget, Sarah, and Gabby. We're going to make a little package for you guys. So like this video, share this video. Y'all have a great day.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Yay.
Ladies, y'all did